Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Tech episode 131. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. I don't have a nickname for him this week. Montrell Rice. How are you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
How are you doing this week? You doing all right, man?
Yeah, I'm just tired. Start this new job, and they already got me working. So,
Ooh, they're putting you to work. Putting you to the
yeah,
grindstone. Well, hey, that's good, man. That's good. That means there's job security, right? Well, I kind of want to just jump right in this week. How about you?
yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, so for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post this is 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, please email us at theplayerstake01@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at theplayerstake. Please send us questions. We will love to answer them. But yeah, let's jump right in, man. So let's start with the games we're playing, like usual. And I'll go first. And this you might not be up for this, but I need a little bit of a therapy session here, okay? So as everybody knows, I've been playing a lot of MMOs lately. Last 3 months probably, since mid to late May. And we started with Final Fantasy, and that was fun. And I got through the main story of that game and kind of blasted through it real fast. And then so before I get deeper into this, were you the one that told me that Ion Classic was out, or was it Brad?
It was Brad. It wasn't me.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it was you, dude. For some reason, I thought it was you. Jet told me it was Brad, but okay. Well, anyways, so yeah, I've been playing Ion for like 6 weeks, pretty hard. 6-7 weeks, pretty hardcore at this point. And I'm level 43. I'm gonna hit 44 tonight if I want to. I'm like 6 million away out of 64 million, so 10% level or so. But I think I've finally hit the wall with it. And it's funny because this is the exact same point I hit the wall with this game the first time I played it, like 10 years ago, or even more than that, 12 years ago, when it came out in 2009. I quit the game when I hit like level 43 or 44 and stopped playing. And I'm doing the same exact thing now. It feels like I'm not saying I'm quitting yet, but I'm thinking about it because man, this week's been really frustrating. So I hit 43 on Sunday, and then I got like half the next level on Monday. I had a really good night, and then I joined a Legion, which is like the second best Legion in my faction on the server in terms of AP gain or whatever. And they're one of the they're like I think they're like the largest Legion, as far as I know. And then Tuesday and Wednesday were fucking terrible, dude. Like I was trying to level, trying to do quest grind or whatever, and I kept getting ganked over and over and over again. And then I tried to do a couple instances, and the groups fell apart. And it's just been like a miserable week. And the siege on Wednesday or yesterday, we lost, like we failed. And honestly, this Legion I joined, so this is where I was at with the game, right? I've been doing a lot of stuff on my own, trying to pug stuff where I could. So, but eventually I hit a point this weekend where I kind of was just like, I had to come to terms with the fact that I need a Legion on the server I'm on because the server's not populated very much. It's populated enough, but the problem, what has happened is that as time has gone on with the server, more and more of the people are in Legions, and there's very few non-Legion groups happening on the server. So I'm having a really hard time finding groups for anything, and when I do find a group, honestly, they're not very good. It's just a kind of a mess and miserable. And the one I had on Monday was bad, dude. We wasted like 3 hours in an instance that should only take like probably an hour and a half. Like it was just like bad pulls, bad focus firing, all sorts of stuff. It was really frustrating. So, and then I've been kind of learning about this new Legion and everything. And honestly, I'm already regretting joining the Legion because they're like what hardcore raiders would be in World of Warcraft. They're kind of that like gatekeepy elitist type of player where they're min-maxers to a ridiculous degree, and they kind of look down on other people based on how they play and gear and everything like that. And I'm not, not really the biggest fan of that stuff in the game. So I'm like, as the week's gone on, I've been playing and continue to play, and I'm just kind of getting more and more frustrated and annoyed. And I'm like, last night when I got off, I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, do I need a break from this game? Like, do I need to just like stop playing it for a few days? Maybe that's one thing I could do. But then the more I thought about it, these things started piling up in my head. A lot of things I just said, and then like even more stuff, just like the toxicity in general, not just my Legion, like the game's design, the way the game's designed kind of caters to people who are elitist, who are
Yeah.
min maxers, kind of no lifers, it's super grindy and all that stuff. And like the community is just not very nice in general in this game. So it's like, it went from like, do I need a break to do I just need to just like let this game go? you know, because I'm not sure I'm enjoying it anymore, because you guys aren't playing it. You're not going to. I don't expect you guys to. So it's really just me playing it with a bunch of random people that I don't know. And I'm not having a fun time with it. So it's like, why am I even playing it at this point? Let's say I break through this barrier and I get to 50 in like 2 weeks, like really fast or something. Like even if that happens, like what am I even playing for at that point? I think I've finally, this happens to me with every MMO, and especially every like persistent online game that I play, is that it gets to a point, there's always this crescendo point where you kind of get over this hump of hype, and then it starts going down, and the game stops being hype to you and something you want to play, and turns into, in your mind, like an obligation. Like you feel like you have to log in, because you're getting left
Yeah.
behind, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like, I think I have hit that point this week with Ion, and I don't want to quit, but then I think about quitting, and I'm like, yeah, but then I could play other stuff, and I'm like, that would be fun again, play something that isn't an MMO. Like finally kind of put the MMOs aside for a little while and play some other games again. Go back to single player, like go back to Mass Effect or whatever, Hades, which I'll talk about here in a few. Um, and I actually hate, it's funny, Hades is kind of the game, like I started playing it this weekend, and I think that's the game that like kind of started to crack this whole thing for me, was like, oh yeah, there's fun video games to play, that aren't Ion, so yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, what do you think, man? Do you think I'm done? Do you think I should just let it go?
Yeah, you reached the point where I reached when I was playing Final Fantasy 14. Like I love the game, but it became a hassle to log in. It stopped becoming fun when I had to try to catch up, and I'm like, I don't feel like I don't feel obligated. I feel obligated to play now. I don't want to play. I just feel obligated to play.
Yeah.
So I think it's just time for you to give it a break and then just come back to it when you want to.
Yeah, I mean, because the other thing I'm thinking is like, okay, maybe I don't need to quit entirely. I could just like let it go for like until I decide I want to play again, like in a week or 2 weeks, whatever that is, But then I'm like, I don't know. Is that, I don't know. I'm kind of the person, I'd rather just quit, let it go, and then if like in a couple months I'm like, oh, you know what, it'd be fun to go back to Ion and maybe do that. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I got to think about it. I'm gonna play tonight, I think, after we're done recording, and I'm gonna get to 44 because I really want to do that. I've been trying to do that all week. I'd like to finish that goal, and then I think I'm gonna like see where my head is from there and go from there. Honestly, so yeah, it's weird, man. It's just weird. Playing MMOs is weird because they all take this form. At least for me, they do. I don't know how other people feel about this, but like there always is like a point where it's like not about fun anymore, it's like you have all these goals you want to achieve and you're trying to move towards them, but then you like take a step back and you're like, well, am I actually having fun doing this, it's like gratifying to complete some of those goals, but you don't always get there, and eventually some of the goals become so long to obtain that you're just like, it's just like there's so like such a large gap between that gratification that it's like not even fun to get there anymore, so I don't know. Yeah, I think it might be a good idea for me to just take a break till Endwalker comes out with Final Fantasy, and maybe
Hmm.
jump back into that at that point. So yeah, man, Yeah. But other than Ion, I did start playing Hades, which came out on PS5 and PS4 and Xbox on this past Friday, and I ended up purchasing it on PlayStation because I don't have a Game Pass subscription right now, and I didn't want to pay for it. So, but yeah, this game is really fun. It's basically the way I was describing it to you is, I mean, this is kind of the way I look at it. Is basically it's a roguelike ARPG, like a kind of like Diablo without the itemization. There's no loot in the game per se, not
Okay.
in the traditional sense of like items and itemization, and you're not getting those kind of drops. You're getting currencies that drop like experience and coins that you can buy stuff with, and then I think there's other types of drops as well. These things are all used to build your character up in various ways between the runs into Tartarus and the Hades in Hades. And yeah, the game's just it's tight. It feels good. The weapons all feel good. The three that I've used so far, I like them all. And honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to playing more of it. If I do stop playing Ion, this I will definitely be playing this game more. It's right up my alley for sure. And if you like ARPGs, I think this is definitely a game worth checking out if you're looking for something a little lighter than your typical ARPG, without a lot of the insane complexity that some of them have, like Grim Dawn and Diablo 2. This game definitely will pique your interest. So, okay, Montrell, what about you? What are you playing, man?
Still playing League of Legends. I got to GOAT 4 last week. Using mid only. I
Mm-hmm.
did use some. I did use some jungle, but that's only because I got auto field and stuff like that. I've been playing mainly mid and support, and I've been getting relatively far. I play Apex. I'm getting better at Apex. I just had to adjust some of the controls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still run into tons of hackers. Well, I don't run into hackers until I play with you guys on PC.
God. uh,
Is the PC market of Apex, and I'm pretty sure this is for every video game that has a PC audience. Is just riddled with hackers. Now I'm sure all of them are not hackers, but I'm pretty sure 10% of the players that we run into are hackers.
yeah.
And to me, 10% is a lot. That's a lot of people to
Well,
be
dude,
running
if
into.
if you do the math on that 10%, I mean that would be that's several people in any game you join,
Yeah, I
So the
think
chances
it's
of them not getting to one of them not getting to the end of the game is really low.
yeah. So yeah, so we obviously yesterday this was the first time I actually like stayed and spectated because usually when we play Apex, I know Jet would spectate. Usually I just like I bitch, I moaned, and I'm ready for the next game. But yesterday, man, I don't know what the fuck was going on yesterday. There was some shit going on. I had to spectate some people, and I'm like, yeah, this is some real. And I reported some people yesterday.
Hmm.
Um, then I'm playing Xenoblade. Every time I play this game, I get into it and I stop playing it, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
just so much.
Yeah, I know
Uh,
it's overwhelming. Yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
it's an overwhelming game.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to clear out all the quests in one
Bro,
area.
just focus on the main story. I, I don't think 100%ing this game is worth it for like 99% of people. Like you need to be a very specific sort of person to 100% this game, and I'm that person, but I don't recommend it to most people because you're not what you're gonna get out of it is like little bits of lore and like some interesting interactions, but that's about it, man. It's just like Xenoblade Chronicles 1's side quests definitely leave a lot to be desired in certain instances. A lot of it's just fetch questy stuff,
Yeah, yeah, a
and
lot of it it is.
not engaging gameplay. And honestly, once you out level a lot of it too, it's so easy that it's just not even like challenging either. So, yeah, I'd recommend just focusing on the main story because to be frank, like the main story is long enough that you're still gonna get 60 to 70 hours out of the game, even if you
Okay,
don't do a single side quest. So that would be my suggestion to you personally.
all right. And then I didn't put it on the list, but I played the Tales of Arise demo, and
Mm-hmm. How's that?
I'm impressed. Yeah, I'm impressed with the game so far. I think they did a good job. I've been using the English voice acting, and I think the voice acting on the English side is really good. The combat's really cool. They did some
Mm-hmm.
new things with the combat. It's way more accessible, but it can also be way more fluid and intuitive as well. Um, and I like that they still got the same, Tails conversations where you can press a button and you see their conversations and stuff like that. Um,
Are those
so
voiced?
yeah, all those are voiced. Yep.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that was they started doing that with one of the last couple entries, I think. So
Yeah. So they are all voiced. There's only certain tidbits where it's not voiced, and that's like when you're interacting with NPCs and getting quests on the field. That isn't voiced, but when you're doing like the party interactions, like when you're just walking around the field and it has like a party interaction that has a name to it, like I don't know, like L- Lloyd's sword, and they're like, "Hey Lloyd, where'd you get that sword from?" And he's like, "Oh, I got it from this and that or whatever." So I think that's cool, and they keep that tradition with Tales. Uh, I will say I played it on both Xbox One and PS5, and the PS5 version, of course, runs way better.
hmm.
I
Okay.
recommend people do not buy this on the other consoles if you can. If you do get them on the older consoles, make sure you have like the Xbox One X or maybe the PS4 Pro because this game looks really gorgeous at 60 frames. It's
Mm.
really stuttery at
It
uh
probably looks like Genshin Impact. I bet you.
yeah, yeah, that's actually a good comparison. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um Also they have another feature which I really like, where you can time the inputs on stuff. So you can have a short input, or you can have a long input delay, which means you can cue your buttons. You can cue your combos, or you can press them like a fighting game. Like as you're coming out, you can press them, which I like as well, and I think it's really cool. But besides that, oh, I did play another demo as well because I was going to buy it or not, which I'm not too impressed with so far. I'm gonna give it another chance. Fuck, what is it called? God damn it. Other Bandai Namco game. Scarlet Nexus.
Scarlet Nexus, yeah.
Yeah. That game's okay. It's not it has a lot of combos in it and stuff like that, which they're going for. But they're not as customizable as Tales or like a Devil May Cry or a Kingdom Hearts or whatever. Um but that was just a demo, and I'm probably gonna give it a chance because it was on sale. So a lot of people have been recommending that game to me. I just been on like a video game funk. I don't know what game I want to play. I've been trying to just play games and see if I come
Hmm.
across something that sticks, but I don't know. I'm just last couple of weeks I've just been playing like the same two games, which is like Apex and League of Legends. I'm getting tired
Well,
of those games too.
yeah, I think that's why I jumped into the MMOs in May because I was feeling that funk coming on, and I really like wanted to dive into something I could like sink my teeth into and like build a character in, and then I think I'm like on the other side of that now, so I'm like I think I've gotten away from the funk where like I want to play games again, like single player games.
Yeah,
So I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, I've said this many times on the show, but sometimes just take a break from games, dude. Don't play anything. Don't play League, don't play Apex. Just go do something else. Watch TV, anime, read a book, some other thing, you know.
yeah,
Something along those lines. So, but yeah. Okay.
yep,
Let's get into the news. There actually is not a lot of news this week worth talking about. So we're probably going to have a pretty short episode here, but you know, we'll go as far as we need to. All right. First story we got is there's some rumors that are starting to seem pretty solid that Rockstar is going to be remastering a trio of GTA games. And these games are Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and then Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which I believe all three of them are PS2 games, right? Is that right?
yes,
Um,
yep,
and these are three of From my perspective, as somebody who doesn't play GTA, three of the more beloved GTA games. People love them all, but these are ones like people who played these, specifically San Andreas and Vice City, are like well known. Like, and these are the games that kind of started it too, for GTA, the way GTA is now. Because three, I think, was the first like 3D open world one, right? Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. And then Vice City, from what I remember, was the one that really like took off. That was the one that really kind of solidified what GTA is. And I remember that game because I didn't play it, but I had friends who played it, and I watched them play it. And that was the one where you were playing. I think you were playing like an Italian mobster, right, in that game.
You're playing the same guy in 3, but before he
Oh,
went to
okay,
jail.
okay.
Yep.
But yeah, these games were really cool for their time. So the idea of them remastering them, we don't know the extent to which they're being remastered. But they're gonna look better than they did back in the day. I would imagine there will be some touching up to them. So, Montrell, does this excite you at all? Would you be looking forward to playing these?
Uh, I'll probably play San Andreas. I love that one. I know that one was like, to me, that one really um show what GTA is all about, because you can, your character CJ, he can become fat or what he eat. You can make him really buff and all that stuff like that. Like, it had really good RPG elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I might play that one, but I don't know, man. I'm like, like, when you see GTA in the news all the time, it's almost like Call of Duty at this point. I'm like, whatever, bro. Do what you gotta do to
Bro,
make your
it's bigger
money.
than Call of Duty, man. Or it
Oh
feels like
yeah,
it
I
is.
know. I think it is. I
They
mean, I'm
crested
pretty.
like 150 million copies sold of GTA 5 recently,
That's
which is
insane.
which is more than like four different console generations, for fucking Nintendo. So,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, I
yeah.
would like for them to make different games. Like, I wanted the Bully, or I don't know. They got some other games under their belt. I think it's called Oni. They made that. I think they
Well,
made
yeah,
that
Red
game.
Dead, Oni, yeah, Bully for sure. I think they made Manhunt too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did actually. They did make
Yeah,
Manhunt.
and only Rockstar could get away with that game. Um, Back in the day. So, um, yeah, the funny part about San Andreas, dude, is I was watching a video the other day of the most popular games since like 1993 or something like that.
Hmm.
And ever since San Andreas has come out, it is one of the most, and it was based off like how much the game has been Google searched over the years. And San Andreas has been consistently in like the top 5 ever since it came out to this fucking day, dude, which is fucking insane. Like, I'm like, wait a second, this is like a PS2 game, like
Well, it
probably
was on
looks like
PC.
shit, probably
It
doesn't
was
play that well. Yeah.
yeah, and it was modded. People mod the shit out of that game.
Wait, it came on PC back in 2004?
Yeah, I think they did a
That
re-release of it,
okay. That
because
explains it more.
it came out on Xbox, OG Xbox, and then I think it came as well on PC. Yeah, it's on PC now. So I think they did a re-release of it,
They
and
did. Yeah, they brought it to PS4 and Xbox One, I think, a few years ago as well.
yeah. So ever since it came out on PC, like, I've been seeing people mod the shit out of it, because you can have gangs in there and stuff like that. So people have been putting like like Naruto and the whole Team 7 crew in there, and uh, somebody put
Uh,
like Kingdom Hearts in there, and
okay.
every time you fought somebody, like, the Kingdom Hearts music would play.
That's
Like,
fucking funny,
they did a
dude.
whole bunch of shit in there. So
Yeah.
I can see why it's the most searched. Because I mean, if you just search up San Andreas mods on YouTube, you will find some hilarious shit. Like, on
Mhm.
one night when you're just like really bored as fuck, and you're like, you go down a YouTube rabbit hole. That's a good YouTube rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I did, dude. I had no idea, man. Like, legitimately no idea. Like, I knew San Andreas was one of the more beloved GTA games, but man, dude, to think that it was this popular all this time, we've like heard nothing about it. Really. Yeah, it's kind of wild. So, but I mean, like GTA 5 is also up there. It's more popular than almost anything at this point, except for like fucking Minecraft. It's yeah, pretty nuts. So we don't know when these are coming, but they will be coming to Switch, PS5, and Xbox as well, of course. So look forward to those. All right, let's move on. We got our MPD numbers for the month of July. Hold on a second here. I think I got the wrong fucking article, man. No, I'm okay. All right.
Yeah, so it says July. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Um, I don't have the numbers. Well, the problem is I'm missing the numbers for like the industry as a whole. I have the
Oh,
top.
okay.
I have the top 20 list, but that's okay. That's fine. We don't need to go through the whole thing. So basically, this last in July, spending in the game industry was up 10% from last year, 4.6 billion in July, which was 10% higher than last year, which is fucking crazy. It's the best July the industry has seen since 2008, which is pretty nuts. So that growth is good because this was, kind of the height of, not the height of, but, pretty high period for COVID last year. So it seems like the industry is starting to really gain, like really get its momentum back up after the last few months, which have been a little bit more flat. We've seen. So that's good. Top 20 games for the month of July. Number one, fuck me, dude. Number one, The Legend of Zelda Skyward fucking Sword. Like,
I
are you
actually thought about. I
are
thought
you
about buying
fucking
this
kidding
game,
me?
man.
I
I
I
thought
well,
about buying it.
dude, I'm saying it right now, and I'm like, you know what? I mean, if I quit Ion, fuck it. I actually might go buy it because I kind of want to. I really want to play it. Like I do. I genuinely like want to play this game because it's the last Zelda of that style that I haven't played. I've never played this game, so I actually think it would be really fun to play it. Even though I know
Hmm.
it's not well liked, still it's still that old school Zelda style. So I may buy it, and I might actually play it, dude. Number two, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, no surprise there. Number three, dude, we got a question about this later too. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, like Capcom. What the fuck, dude? Like Monster Hunter, dude, like damn, number three on a list for a fucking releases for a month. Like that's crazy, man. Because this isn't Monster Hunter proper. This is like a spin-off game,
Yeah.
that's like a JRPG basically. So number four, Mario Kart 8. Number
Oh my
five,
god.
fucking Minecraft, dude. Number
Oh
six,
my god.
Mario Golf Super Rush. Number seven, MLB The Show 21. Number eight, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number nine, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 2019 game. Number 10, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 11, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Number 12, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 13, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Number 14, Super Mario 3D World. Number 15, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 16, Neo, The World Ends With You, which this is Square Enix's remake. Number 17, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 18, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Number 19, Resident Evil Village. And 20, rounding out the list, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And MLB
I
The
mean,
Show actually surpassed Resident Evil and is the second best-selling game of the year. So,
oh really?
yeah, that's a big one. Montreal, anything jumping out to you on this list
Uh, no, not really.
besides Nintendo's continued dominance? It's like if there's a month where there aren't a lot of releases, that are
Oh,
outside of Nintendo, Nintendo just takes this fucking list over.
yeah, man. Nintendo's doing their thing, and for Monster Hunter to be that high, and that's just a Switch game. That's crazy. I mean, I guess that makes sense. The Switch has a huge install base now. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I keep thinking the Switch doesn't have a huge install base. It
Yeah, it's like
has
80 million
yeah, it has a huge install base.
or
So
85 million even, I think, at this point.
I I still am surprised that a lot of people are taking a liking to this game. I looked at it and it looks really cool. I don't know if I'll be into it. Because
Well,
it looks
I
like
guess this is a good time to bring in the question we had. So
yeah,
that dude asked us on Twitter, have y'all considered playing Monster Hunter Stories too? Um,
I have, and
yeah.
I did read that you don't need to play Monster Hunter Stories 1
Mm-hmm.
to get into this. The only problem is I'm not in the mode. I'm not in the mood for turn based right now. Like I'm just not in the mood for that. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this shows my ignorance. I actually think the combat is actually pretty cool for turn based. Like what they're doing with it, it looks like Monster Hunter. But it's a turn based game. Like I don't want to compare it to Pokemon. But it does give me those. It gives me Pokemon and it gives me Digimon Cyber Sleuth vibes.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at it, um, and with the Monster Hunter spin on it. Uh, my only fear is when I play it, I'm just gonna have the urge to play regular Monster Hunter, and I'm gonna put it down and play regular Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, for me, I was actually interested in this game when it was coming out, but this came out in the middle of me like getting obsessed with Ion. So that's why it fell to the wayside for me. The other reason is I'm afraid this game is going to suffer from what happened to me with Bravely Default 2, where I played like, I don't know, a third to a half the game, and then I just dropped it and never thought about it again, you know? Because, yeah, that's what happened to me with Bravely Default 2. I was like playing it and I was like, oh, this game's fun. This game's fun. This game's fun. And then I played something else for like a few days, and then I never thought about Bravely Default 2 ever again until like this moment, you know? Like, so I feel like that might happen to me with Monster Hunter Stories too. So I don't know. I got to think about it because if I'm gonna go back to some single player games, I really got to think about what my priorities are. Because Hades is one for sure. 12 minutes comes out tomorrow, which that's probably not a long game to be honest, for sure. But there's that. There's Zelda that we were just talking about. This game, and then we got stuff coming out next month. Tales of Arise, and then there's something else that I wanted to play in September too. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Then there's this game that I heard about called Dodgeball Academia too. That sounds really cool. That I want to try. I want to check out too. So it's like, and then there's Mass Effect that I want to finish those. So it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just it's like not high on that list that I just laid out to you guys. Like, you know, so
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing that happened with me with Monster Hunter Stories. Like it came out at a very weird time when I really wasn't playing. I really didn't plan on playing single player games. Like I really want my next single player game to be Tales of Arise. So it's like that comes out in 2 weeks, I think, 3 weeks rather.
I think it's
Yeah, it comes out on
September
the 9th.
13th. Oh, the 9th. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 3 weeks then. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like I don't want to. In 3 weeks, I can beat games, but like with this new job, I'm so busy that I don't know if I can do it. So it's like I don't want to start something and then I can't beat it. So
Mm-hmm.
for right now, I don't know. I plan on. It's one of those games I'm probably gonna buy at the end of the year when there's like a sale. I'm probably gonna buy it during Black Friday, even
Mm-hmm.
though Switch games never really go on sale like that. But I'm probably still gonna buy it.
Well, Monster Hunter might. I could see that going down to 40
Okay.
on Black Friday. Yeah, that might be the thing. It might be a Black Friday game for me too. But yeah, actually I remember what the other game was. So it was Diablo 2. So I feel like we need to talk about this, Montreal. Maybe this and let's just do it now because yeah, we've been talking about Activision Blizzard and we're not happy with them. Nobody is right now, but um I want to play a game with the boys, and this feels like the next game that people are going to be jumping on because I think you tried it and you were digging it, right? The demo, is that right? Or the
No, I
beta?
haven't tried it. I haven't tried the beta. I didn't get a chance to try the beta.
Oh, you were going to try it this weekend, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay, but yeah, you're interested in this game, right?
Yeah, I am.
So, given that, like, I know Jet and Brad are going to play, and that would be, and then if you're playing and I play, that means we have, like, I think a full group. Like, I think that's like, I mean, I think you can have more people in a game than that, but that would be, you know, as many as we probably need for anything. So I don't know. I've been like, you know, I was really off on Activision Blizzard, and I am still for sure, but I think the thing is, I've kind of decided that a boycott is not necessarily my answer for dealing with them. I'm going to continue to be vocal on this show and online with them about my dislike of the way they do things and issues with their games and stuff like that. But a boycott, in my opinion, is not very effective. It tends not to be effective, especially when you're talking about a company like Blizzard, where it's not going to really make a dent in their sales, to the point that you're making a pointless gesture for no real gain. So to me, it's just not valuable to do it. Now, more power to you if you want to, for sure. But this feels like a case that it's going to be more effective to stay within their communities and be vocal within their communities about your issues with them. So,
Yeah,
because not buying the games also, while it does affect their bottom line, it's also going to hurt the developers of the games, though. The people that are still there who are just trying to work there as a job, they're
yeah.
the ones that are going to feel the ramifications of sales being down. So keep that in mind too. So you know, I felt a need to address that real quick. But okay, let's move on, Mucho. We got a couple more stories here to talk about. Pokemon. They had a Pokemon event this week. It was a bunch of stuff for. They showed like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, some more gameplay from those. I think they talked about Pokemon Unite, right, which is the MOBA game. I think they showed a new character off or something like that for that game, which we never tried that game, by the way. But I've been seeing it pop off on the timeline a little bit, so it looks kind of cool. But
Yeah, but
I,
nobody's playing it now.
oh, really? Are people already
Yeah,
off it?
I haven't seen anybody posting more videos of it.
Interesting. But then they showed another trailer for Pokemon Legends, Arceus or whatever it's called, Arceus. I don't know how to say this thing's fucking name. But there was a new trailer. It showed a lot more this time, a lot more actual gameplay. So this is an open world Pokemon game in the Sinnoh region. Um, well, yeah, I think it's the Sinnoh region, but they're calling
It's
it
the yeah, it's the Sinnoh region, but it's back in the day it was called the
the
Haisu
Hisu, or
Hisu
yeah, Hisui or
Haisu,
yeah, Haisu, yeah, something like
yeah,
that.
whatever, something like that
Yeah, so this
region.
is like ancient Pokemon times, like I guess I don't know, but they still had like Pokeballs for some reason. Um, you know, but yeah, so they showed this trailer off. It's an open world game, and it we didn't know this, but it has turn based battles like the normal Pokemon games do. However, there seems to be some differences here. A little bit more faster paced. You actually have like they actually show you turn orders and stuff now too in the game, and you can actually do multiple attacks back to back, depending on your Pokemon stats and speed and what type they are.
Yeah.
There's like a strength type and a speed type that there are differences with those. So, what did you think of this trailer, Montreal? You seem really excited about it. So, tell me what you're thinking.
Um, I like what they're going, the direction they're going with the game. Uh, I'm gonna be. It seems like I'm going to be very critical of them, but I'm not. I love the direction they're going with the game. I wish they could have went a little bit further. Like, I almost want it to be like borderline action combat, like
Mm-hmm.
turn based but action combat. That makes any sense. Almost like well, it's not turn based, but almost like an MMO ish type gameplay where it is real time. There is no turns. Like your Pokemon may be doing auto attacks, and you can weave in attacks like their specialized attacks within those auto attacks.
Yeah, I'm
Kind of
telling you, dude. Like, Nino Kuni is got to be the combat system they modeled this off eventually.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually a really good example. Nino Kuni is a really good example of what they should. Not Nino Kuni two guys. One, uh,
Yeah, the first one, right?
yeah, where you actually control monsters, and they did auto attacks too, but you can give them commands while they're fighting. It was AI controlled monsters that were fighting each other. Uh, and oddly enough, in that game too, the human was fighting too, right? Your main
Yes.
character was.
So your main character could do things. He could join the battle and cast spells and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So Which is funny in this game, the Pokemon can attack the trainer or the researcher rather in this game, or the surveyor. I forget what they called them. In this game, so if you get attacked enough by the Pokemon, you would also have to go back to the camp and go to sleep and rest, and that's how you return HP or get your HP back up and stuff like that. So I think that concept is really cool. It actually adds a lot of danger to the Pokemon. Um, that we haven't really seen in previous games before because they always, for some reason, never attack the humans, except for like when Ash tried to fist fight Mewtwo. But besides that, we never really seen. I'm pretty sure there's other instances on the cartoons and stuff where Pokemon have attacked humans and stuff
didn't
like
he?
that.
Didn't he do that? And then Mewtwo like turned him to fucking stone, right?
No, he just lifted him up and threw him, and then
Okay, but he turned
all
him
the
to stone in that movie though. Later on, right?
yeah, you remember Ash
And
went
then and
into
then
the
all the Pokemon and everybody started crying, and their tears brought Ash back to life. God, that movie is so cheesy. Oh, I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, I think a beam. He went in between the beams between Mew and Mewtwo. They were fighting. They did like a side beam towards each
Mm-hmm,
other, and then he was in the middle.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think the game looks really cool. I don't blame Game Freak. I came to a revelation that I just blame the fans, which is odd, because nostalgia is holding Pokemon back, and I don't think it's Game Freak. I think it's the fans,
Mm.
which are keeping the game from evolving. No pun intended. Keeping Pokemon from evolving. Um, I like that Diamond and Pearl, the remakes, and which is funny. I actually like the style of the game. A lot of people hate that chibi style. I think it looks really cool. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
it's like a throwback to the way the games used to be.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool, but
Yeah,
everyone hates it. Like a lot of
yeah.
people hate that shit.
I,
Uh,
I I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna play those remakes. I know you're probably not.
I'm not no.
Because you're not a big fan of that gen, but I actually really fucking love Gen 4. Gen 4 is the gen that like brought me back to Pokemon. And actually made me like it again. Because I never played third gen, and I didn't play Pokemon for a long time. And then yeah, when Gen 4 came out, I just like I got it and it was fucking great. So, but this game, Legends, it looks. I don't know how hype I really am for it. It looks like more what we want, like what we've talked about for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. I'm not gonna deny that. I don't want to be like hyper negative here. But I don't know like what is even the point of the game? Are you just like filling a Pokédex? Like are there gonna be gyms? Are you gonna just be running around an open world just doing whatever? Like is there like that seems unclear to me. Like what is the goal of the game? You know, like what
I
are you
think
trying to achieve?
the goal of the game is to fill the Pokédex. That's what they did say. So I was disappointed in that. I didn't like that
Okay. Yeah,
aspect
and are you
because
gonna
you
battle trainers or is it just wild Pokemon?
that's another thing we don't know. So we gotta wait until more information comes out. But I mean, fuck, it's about to be fucking July or January by the time we fucking sneeze right now.
That's only like
Jesus.
5 months from now, dude.
Yeah. So
Like literally, like we're like 5 months from this game coming out. You know, we don't even know that much about it. You know.
yeah, and I'm actually surprised it's coming out so soon. But they probably gonna do what they did with Sword and Shield and add content to it and stuff like that. But since that was really successful, uh,
Right.
but yeah, like it is more of what I want. I would actually like for this game to be the mainline Pokemon game. It's like the next whatever they do, whatever line they do a Pokemon, this be the style that it goes in. Because I would like to fight in cities and all that stuff, and yeah, do gym battles and all that shit like that. Like almost like Pokemon Coliseum. Like that was like it wasn't a perfect Pokemon game, but it was a really good concept of what they could do with a Pokemon, a open world Pokemon game. If they really tried. So I don't know. It's a step in the right direction. Um, I just don't have it in me for them to take another 20 years to innovate again. I just don't have it in me. So
Yeah.
I'll play it, but I was really hyped when the game first when I first saw the game, and I was going crazy in the group chat. And then I just watched it again. I'm like, All right. Well, hype's died down, and I'm
Hmm.
really
Well, that first
unclear.
trailer was really rough, dude. Like in my opinion, that first trailer was really not good. Like it really did not make the game look good.
Oh no, yeah,
This one,
that looked like an alpha. But with this
yeah,
trailer, I was hyped for
yeah,
this trailer. So
okay,
yeah, that's what I meant to say. I was really hyped for this trailer. Um, the first time I saw it, that's what I meant to say. The first time I
I
saw
see.
this trailer
Okay,
live, I was hyped for it. But then I went back and watched it, and I read more information about it once it came out, and I was just like, I don't like what your goals are. I don't like. I mean, I guess your goal in the original game too is to catch them all. But you got Pokemon gyms, you got battle towers, you got fucking teams trying to kill you and shit like that. So I mean, it's a. But this is their first time doing something like this.
hmm,
So I don't know. I wish the combat was like a real time combat, not action oriented, but just real time. I thought that would have been really cool for a game like this instead of like the action order combat, what they're calling it. Um,
yeah. I
uh,
mean, we'll get there, man. I think we'll get there. I really do actually think we're gonna get there. Like this, the fact that this game exists to me is a sign that they want to branch out. You know, like they're gonna take baby steps to get there, but and they're still gonna make their main Pokemon games, I think. But this is vastly different from what they've normally done with Pokemon, even with side games in the past. Is that it is disappointing that the game's goal is like to fill the Pokédex, but at the same time, I kind of like the idea that they're experimenting a little bit, and maybe they
yeah,
can make it entertaining. Maybe they can make it feel good. So and this game might be more chill. Like it's not about min maxing your Pokemon as much. Like it's just about filling the Pokédex. Like you're not like totally about like building this team, and maybe you're like using a lot more different Pokemon. You're like switching your Pokemon out all the time, and stuff like that. That could be a fun way to play. So, I'm cautiously optimistic. Um,
yeah,
I'm
me
I'm
too.
definitely gonna check it out too. I want to support this just to you know let the Pokemon company know that I want more of this kind of game, out of them. And dude, who knows? Maybe if this is successful and it's received well, they'll this might actually influence the mainline games a little bit more,
Yeah, yep.
Because dude, you
And,
remember the wild area in Sword and Shield?
yeah, I think that was like a. I wouldn't say like a pre-alpha to what this game is going to be.
Kinda. That's kind of the way I look at it too. And that area is cool, man. I like that area. It's just tiny. Like it's very small. And I think that I could see that being a blueprint for the next Pokemon game. Like I really
Yeah,
kind of hope the next Pokemon game is structured more like that area was. More detailed, obviously, and has more stuff to do in it, and there's more landmarks and stuff. But dude, like, I would love the idea of an open world. I just like like a normal Pokemon game. I'll even keep the turn-based battle system, just like a normal Pokemon game, though. But it's
yeah,
open world, like this, and
yeah. You can do
so
gyms out of order and stuff like that, and
exactly right. You can do the
yeah,
gyms out of order. You can go play wherever you want in whatever order you want.
you can
And
pick your
yeah, maybe the
starting city.
game's true. Yeah, you pick your starting city, and yeah, they could do all sorts of stuff with that. So that would
I
be
think they have enough money to do that, guys. I mean, they're $1 billion company.
right.
Um, just off Pokemon alone. And one more thing I wanted to say is, guys, just because we see an open field in a mountain, it's not Breath of the Wild. Come on,
Mm-mm.
not. Man. As
I'm
soon
reading
as this
the
game came out,
yeah,
everyone was like, "Oh my god, Breath of the Wild with Pokemon!" I'm like, "Oh my god,
bro.
gosh."
Dude, these comments in this article that we have in our thing, every one of them mentions Breath of the Wild almost, like every single fucking one of them. And I'm like, I'm with you. Like Breath of the Wild did not invent the open world game. Okay, guys,
You're wrong, man. What are you talking about?
like what the fuck, like god, man, just cuz yeah, like you said, just cuz a game has like rolling hills and grasslands and some trees doesn't mean it's Breath of the Wild. Like people are saying that about Genshin Impact, and bro, Genshin Impact couldn't be further from Breath of the Wild. The game is like feels fucking nothing like Breath of the Wild. Like, stop it. Like, I hated that comparison, especially once I played the game. I was like, God damn it, dude. Like Breath of the Wild is nothing like this. Okay, yeah, there's like quote dungeons in the game, but that's not. They're not puzzles. Like, they're not puzzle based things. Like, you're not really doing puzzles in them. You're just running through them and killing enemies. Like that game is much more of like I'd argue like more of an MMO style game. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like I'm kind of getting tired of that comparison too, because Breath of the Wild, like Breath of the Wild was the game that was influenced by other games. Okay.
It was
And
influenced by The Witcher. Like you can obviously tell.
yeah, right. The Witcher, Fallout, Skyrim, like, and they even said this in pre-release, you know. And yeah, Breath of the Wild, since it came out, probably has influenced other games, but it's not like they're the ones who invented this style, you know. So yeah, I getting tired of that too, for sure. All right, Montreal, we got one more story to talk about. It is another announcement. Call of Duty finally announced the game for this year. So I was wrong last week. They hadn't announced the Call of Duty game for this year. It had still not been announced, and it's literally coming out in 3 months, less than 3 months. So it's coming on November 5th, and it is called Call of Duty Vanguard, it is going back to World War II, which it did in
Last month.
2017.
Yeah.
So that was what, 4 years ago, I guess, 4 games ago. But I mean, man, like, I don't understand how people still play these games, bro. Like, how does this series continue to sell as much as it sells? I don't get it. I just don't get it. They're out of ideas. They got nothing. They got nothing, dude. They keep going to World War II.
Well, this is Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
This is essentially Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 did the whole heroes thing, heroes of World War II, and
Mm-hmm.
they're doing the same thing. They're doing like the heroes section of World War II, like because you got
Yeah.
the Russian lady sniper who's actually a real sniper. I can't remember her name. I think she's called Red Death or White Death or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, you can play with her, and then you can play with other heroes and everything of that nature, or of the World War II. Yeah, like I don't know where we can go from here. I even throw Battlefield in this shit show too. Like I don't know what we can do. I think what Battlefield is doing, in my opinion, like just leaving the single player out of the fray and going back modern, but you kind of make your own story because you're playing the game with other friends and stuff like that. So you just make your own little stories, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not trying to sound corny like a PR marketing person. You make your own stories with the multiplayer guys, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do this. But I think Call of Duty, maybe they need to do some kind of like home front type shit, like some what if scenarios. Hey,
Like an
what
alternate
if
history game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like hey, what if,
China
Japan
invaded.
actually
Well,
yeah, China invaded.
that'll never happen. Tencent.
Oh, yeah, that's
That
true. That's
specific
true.
one won't happen. But yeah.
Yeah. What if Japan invaded, America or whatever and actually succeeded? What if, what if the Germans got to make the nukes first, So like stuff like that I think would be cool. I think
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate games like Fallout so much because that alternate history is just so rich and it allows writers to be really creative.
Hmm.
Um and I actually liked what they did, like what Call of Duty did with their other games, even though they weren't like too well received. I still like the story. Like Call of Duty, I think it was called Infinite or something, like where in space and shit like that. I thought that was
Oh,
pretty cool.
Advanced War.
Not Advanced Warfare, the other one where they were in space. I can't remember that one. But
Was
you
it
remember
Infinite?
that one?
Infinite Warfare. Yeah, that's right. It was Infinite
Inf-
Warfare.
yeah,
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare.
It
Because you
had
remember
Jon
that
Snow in
one?
it.
Yeah, and you remember that one had like strikes you can do and stuff like that. You can send a team out in a
Hmm.
single player, and it had branching single player arcs and stuff like that. Like they actually tried with the single player, and even Advanced Warfare had its own story too. But then that came out just to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 story. But or no, that was Ghost that copied that. story frame, but Advanced Warfare did have its own with the exosuits and stuff like that. And I thought the single player at least was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm not really a Call of Duty head. I mean, if their fan base loves it, then if they like it, then I love it. Um, but just from the outside looking in, outside the fan base looking in, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know. They're gonna keep on recycling. I bet you $10 the next game is gonna be in the fucking Vietnam. Like
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I'm like, part of me at this point is like just so morbidly curious about this that I almost want to just try one of these games because I've never really played a Call of Duty game.
mhm.
Especially I've never played the single player portion of a Call of Duty game either. Um, and I just like I there's got to be something about it. Like it's got to be really good, right? Like the quality has got to be really good of the
The
single player
game,
campaigns.
they perfected their gunplay. I would say, like
Yeah,
it's just really if you like that fast twitch type shooter,
yeah,
they perfected that in my opinion. Their gunplay, as far as like a first person shooter, that style of first person shooter, is kind of unmatched.
hmm,
It's not my preferred style. Even though I love Apex Legends because it kind of has the twitchy shooter, but it has other elements. It has the elements of like MOBAs and stuff like that with the
character
powers and
abilities, yeah,
characters' abilities
and
and
it's
stuff like that.
BR, yeah,
And it's a BR as well, yeah. Um, Whereas like I guess you can say like Battlefield is a twitch shooter. It's that aim ADS shooter, but
hmm,
it's not really a twitch shooter because it's more slower paced. You have a lot more players in the field. You have destructible environments. And it's a lot more chaotic.
more
Whereas with this
objective
game,
based too.
yeah, exactly. Whereas this game, I mean, it can't. They have so many different modes where it's really that jack of all trades game, and I see why people like it because you can get your searching. You want to play objective games. You got capture the flag, search and destroy, the domination. If you want to just play team deathmatch, you got team deathmatch. Now they got the battle royale. If you just want to play that, so it really is a jack of all trades game,
Yeah,
and the gunplay is, from what I consider, pretty polished. There may be certain hiccups here and there, but you know they got the perk system and everything like that. Like they were the innovators of that type of game that everyone else kind of modeled their game off of, and there was a reason why everybody modeled their games off of Call of Duty.
yeah. Well, coming November 5th. I don't think they're gonna do anything interesting going forward either. You're like Montrell said, you're probably gonna get fucking Vietnam game or a Cold War game or fucking I don't fucking know. Are we at the point where we could start doing like like a Iraq War game or something like that? Probably not.
I mean, that was pretty much Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
But they went to a fake
Hmm.
Middle Eastern country. And they did
Hmm.
that in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the remake as well. They went to a fake Middle Eastern country.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you on this. So, Battlefield and Call of Duty have been going head to head for a long time. And Call of Duty hasn't always come out on top, you know. And I mean, if I'm being objective about this, I think they're going to come out on top this year too, for sure. But given the hype surrounding Battlefield this year, 2042, and I don't know what the kind of reception to this trailer is for Call of Duty, but I would guess there's probably a lot of disappointed people right now for this. Do you think there is a chance that Battlefield could actually win this year?
No.
No. Is Call of
Nope.
Duty too big? This is too big of a name.
Um that That's a huge. That's like 80% of it, or I say 70% of it. 30% of it is a lot of people. They're trying to eat Call of Duty's fan base, but a lot of people just don't like how slow Battlefield is. Even though I don't
Mm,
consider it slow, a lot of
mm,
people just don't like that chaotic nature. They like the 6v6, 12v12. If you're feeling lucky, if you're doing the ground war version of Call of Duty,
mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, it's a little bit too slow for a lot of people. A lot of people just don't like it.
Fair enough. All right, Montreal. I think that's all we got this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Nope.
All right. Well, it's going to be a shorter episode this week for you guys. But if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, Montrell is iTrap for the Hokage. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that's it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next week. Bye.